Okay, a big welcome to Barry Leahey, MBE, to the Self-Made Mind podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's all right, yeah. Me and myself and Craig are separate today because obviously we've just landed into lockdown free. I like to think these chats are timeless, but you know, I suppose we've got to. It's quite an important time in the in the history of the world, really. So I suppose we can bring it up. I mean, yeah. How are you doing, first of all, Barry, and how has it affected you with lockdown number 3?
Well, well, thanks for asking, because I think that's something that a lot of people don't often ask. Especially when you're a business leader, you don't get asked how you are. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you asking. I'm all right. It's a stressful home life, as I think the majority of people in the UK. I've got a daughter that's now homeschooling. I've got a mum who's got a full-time job as well as myself, and we're doing the juggling, and we've got grandparents involved and stuff. And I think that's the biggest worry. And obviously you worry about the health of your family and your loved ones and and all the staff we've got. And that was our biggest concern at Playgale, was to make sure everyone was safe and we're operating in safe systems, which we are. But let's just say I've had plenty of practices. It might come out over the chat around crises. I'm not one to waste a crisis. I'm not going to go as far as saying I enjoy it, because I mean that'd just be a little bit wrong. But I do like it when we have to make things happen. So I think you run on adrenaline, don't you?
I think in a way, I think it kind of forces you into action, and I think you have to adapt in these situations. So yeah, I agree with you, and I think Craig will as well. And it's a good time to learn about yourself and your business as well. Yeah. So we're obviously we're really interested in your personal journey, Barry. So if you can kind of give us a compressed version of your life story, basically starting from your childhood, if that's all right.
Okay. I love it how you say compressed. You must have heard it speak before. All right, so I'm just a very normal, and I stress this, I'm a working class lad. I was born in Wigan. All right, I hold that against my parents still, but only because I'm a huge St Helens rugby fan, and I had all my life of being ridiculed by all my friends. But my dad was a miner, and it was a very working class. We were not going to go as far as saying we had no shoes or anything like that, but we didn't have a lot, right? And I think I learned very early doors about. I was brought up very well. I was brought up very well mannered, and a lot of discipline. Some would say maybe too much in the modern world, but I knew not to step out of line, type thing. And I also knew that I wanted to achieve. I wanted to make my parents proud. My mum worked in management in the NHS, and and we got by. I'm the eldest, so it's always my fault. And and I've got a brother and sister, and we didn't know it. Was very happy. We didn't know we didn't have an awful lot. I always joke about it. And my mum would swing for me if she listens to this, which she probably will. But we made a kind of peach halves last 2 nights between 5 of us, and you're like, didn't think anything of it, and stuff like that. It was, but yeah, it was great. But which meant I was probably quite a skinny kid, right, by default. And we were very active. We were always out. And I think my first milestone is I discovered that I enjoyed running, athletics. And at the age of 7, and I was very OCD as a child. My mum would tell you I always used to line all my cars up, and they had to be perfect. And I had issues there. And they used to put me in the playpen and let my sister play outside of it, who was 2 years younger than me, so she didn't disrupt the cars and stuff like that. Obviously, I lose the flock from my OCD. But no, and at the age of 7, I saw Seb Coe break the world record on TV. We were on holiday, I think, and he broke it, 141.73. That record stood for about 30 years. And the 800 meters, and it was June 1981. And I said to my dad, "Can I come out running with you the next day?" They were real big fitness freaks, my mother and father. really. And he said, yeah, come out running with me, and I did. And then from there, I joined the local athletics club at the age of 7, and I'd be going 5 evenings a week. And my parents then literally dedicated their lives to running their children around clubs, and I was the start of it. But, you know, at one point, for the next 10 years, I wanted to be Sebastian Coe. And someone should have told me around about age 8 that I was never going to be good enough. But I was determined to do it. And, you know, at one point we were training like 11, 12 times a week, mornings, getting up, dad dropping me off on his way to work, running back before school. And it was great. You know, we were in schools of excellence, and, you know, we were competing at regional, national levels. But what that taught me was it gave me that work ethic. It gave me and what I didn't know. And if you ask me later about, you know, who would I read now? And, you know, I like the Gladwell books about 10,000 hours. And I know you guys are into your sport. And if you've not read them, you know, go and read Malcolm Gladwell. You know, become world class, you've got to do 10,000 hours. Well, I don't think I even did 10,000 hours all those years of running. Maybe I did, and I just didn't become world class. But you know, I wasn't far off. But by then, it's, you know, it's that much is the difference. And that gave me that work ethic. I had to start work. I didn't have to start working. I started to deliver papers when I was 13. You say, why is that relevant? Well, I understood the value of money and what I could do with it. And I used to deliver 500 papers, and I got £5 for it. You know.
Yeah. I've been there as well, Barry. Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah. It was a penny a paper and a penny a leaflet, and
you
know, back then, and you know, what year are we in now? We're in 1987 or something like that when I started it. And you know, and I was doing that, and I was an academic. I wasn't an academic, that's a lie. I wasn't stupid. I was in top sets at school, but in a very average school. And I remember sitting in class at high school. I was about 11 or 12, not in class, gone home one night and watched Blue Peter or something like that. And it said the top 10% of people at schools today only go to university. And that this OCD in me and this competitive edge, and I don't like losing. I used to sit in class and say, right, there's 30 people in here. I've got to be in the top 3 to go to university. And no one in our family had ever gone to university. So I had this, I've just always got this desire to better myself and work hard at it. So I'd study hard as well, you know, along with training and everything else. And I tell people now, I say, I work an 80-hour week every week, and I have done for 25 years. And they roll their eyes and go, whatever, or of course you do, or well, that's not healthy. Well, you know what? It might not be healthy, but it's who I am, and it's been ingrained into me. You know, getting up at whatever time, going running, going to school, getting home, delivering papers, going training, doing my homework. You know, it's from a very, very early age. And I think you carry that on, or I've definitely carried it on through life, wherever your grounding is. So, brought up in Wigan, went to college in Wigan, went off to university. I started at the University of Sunderland in the Northeast, and I did sports science. And I wanted to be the best exercise sports scientist in the UK, And I did really well on my course. And at the end of not at the end, by the first quarter of the course, I did A-level PE, I got an A, I was rated in the UK at that. You get a notification, you know, I lived it, I lived sport. Every sport, it was cricket, basketball, rugby, played an awful lot of rugby. And so I wanted to do the best that I could do there, and I got the opportunity to go to the US, and I got a scholarship, an academic scholarship, to go to the American College of Sports Medicine, which is in South Georgia, which was a phenomenal university, unbelievable. I was lucky enough to, when I came out of university, I used to design and build health clubs and gyms, and we redid Melwood for Liverpool in 1997, 98. And Michael Owen had his knee injury, and we put one isokinetic testing machine in 98, £50,000 machine, right? The university I was at in 94 had 9 of them, you know, and Liverpool's was supposedly the best training complex in Europe, you know, and after it opened, we're showing AC Milan around, and Inter, and, you know, Barcelona, I think, came over, you know. their physios and stuff. And my university, 5-6 years before, had 10 times the amount what Liverpool had. So a year that, well, just over a year there, and it was the hardest year of my life. But it was amazing. So I got used to, I don't know, living away from home, and I'd always been on trips and stuff. So, and I just grasped that opportunity because I wanted to be better than everyone when I came back. And then I did my third year. Then I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to do a master's on the back of it, because again, I sat there at university and looked around and went, right, there's 40 odd people on this course. There's 20 courses around the UK. I'm gonna have to go and do a master's if I want to be like, in the top bracket type thing. And I've taught this about outperforming your competition at every opportunity.
Yeah.
So I did a master's in it, and then I was lucky enough to go working for a company called Technogym, which if you go into any health club now, you'll probably see some Technogym equipment.
Yeah.
And they were the second biggest in the world then. They're now the biggest. And they were new to the UK, and they were known as the biomedical science company then, not the wellness company. And it was all about how we can get sports science into gyms. And that's how I got onto my business career, really. So that was me growing up. It was extremely busy. I like to say challenging, but fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, go on, Billy.
Yeah, the going back to the 10,000 hours, the quote that you're talking about there, I've actually read that book. It's an interesting quote because it talks about if you do 10,000 hours worth of training, you are classed as an elite athlete. But I think it's more of a case of it could be in anything. I see it as anything. Like 10,000 hours of training in anything, you're going to be good at it. Personally,
well, he gives examples. I don't know which book it is. It's Tipping Point Outliers. I think 10,000 hours is in. All right. Well, any of these books are great, but he talks about the violinist. The 9-year-old Chinese violinist. That's just unbelievable. Talks about Wayne Gretzky, if I remember rightly, a lot about
ice hockey.
He could read ice hockey, but I take that now to business, and especially something like Playdale. I immersed myself in Playdale for all these years.
Yeah.
And you've got is it 3,000 or 30,000 nodes in your gut? And people say, go by gut feel.
Yeah.
Well, is it gut feel? It's 10,000 hours of knowledge that all those neurons just hit, and you just know which way it's going.
Yeah.
Be it a football or be it a business meeting, or an individual in front of you. If you immerse yourself in something for a serious amount of time,
definitely,
I believe the UK culture doesn't have. If you say, how could we be better? We, excuse the pun, we play at a lot of stuff. We don't dedicate ourselves to stuff. Then you start to become elitist in that area.
Yeah. Time is a massive. I speak about time a lot, and when I first opened my business, it was always down to time management, because a lot of excuses these days are, I don't have enough time. The amount of times people go, I don't have enough time. And it's like 20 minutes to do, a workout or eat something right or whatever. And I think a lot of people just say, I don't have enough time to get out of a lot of things. So time for me is a massive one in business as well as anything else.
Yeah, well, I think you swap the word time for desire.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the desire, you've got the time.
Yeah, you make the time, don't you? You make the time.
It's easy to do. You've got to make sacrifices.
Yeah, absolutely. While we're on that there, Barry, what sacrifices would you say you've personally made then throughout your journey? Some of the main sacrifices.
Lots, be it socially, definitely, as you're growing up, and being popular. You're lucky if you're involved in sport. You're popular by default almost, aren't you, if you're good at something.
Yeah.
Sport attracted, so all right.
Like the American jock type.
Yeah, it is. So I won't say I was unpopular, but I was very, if you meet friends that I've still got today from school, so I guess I'm very loyal, and I must have, done a lot with them, but they knew that I wasn't going to be there lots of times, or I very quickly realised You know, it like, Barry, you come in, oh, I understand you're working, or oh, you're training, or that. But if you ask me, you know, do I, you know, did I have any regrets? It's probably not giving more sacrifices. You know, I almost did try to please everybody. Well, you can't, you know, one of the learning things for me was you can't please everybody. And if you've got the desire to be the best, then you've got to make even bigger sacrifices and not feel guilty about it. Try, you know, it's like the saying of, you know, what is it, master of none or something like that.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
I was trying to be friend of everybody. Didn't quite achieve the ultimate in anything, maybe.
I can relate to that personally as well. I think, especially when you're growing up and in school, like your group of friends might be, you know, they might want to go out on a certain night, and you just get you just go along with the crowd sort of thing. And I think you can easily look back at that now and think, oh, I should have stayed in and, you know, worked on myself a bit more. But, you know, no regrets really. We can't have regrets, I don't think. No. We are here today because of what's happened. So
right, I'm very much about sliding doors type stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, what would have happened? Well, I don't know, but let's make the most of today. You can't turn back time. You know, I have a mindset, and one of my things you'll hear my mantra is make every day count. And that's what I've learned now. You know, don't let status quo happen. Just do something every day.
Yeah, correct.
You know, you're in control of your destiny, and that's when you learn about pleasing people. You know, you are in control. You make your decisions.
Definitely. It's like we can't control what happens, but we can control how we react to it and what we do next, which is very important.
Very.
So let's talk about Playdale, Barry, if we can, and just tell us about that, how that came about, and why you got into that position.
Okay, so I was at Technogym, and I did 4 or 5 years there, and then I got the big one of my big learning points in life. I got people talk about headhunters and stuff, don't they? It sounds very grand. I got someone rang me up and said, "Do you want to work for the best company in the UK?" And I went, "Yeah." And we'll pay you the best in the UK. And I went, "Yeah, definitely." And then and they said, "Right, well, they don't want you." Right, okay, well, that really is a red rag to a bull. And but you've got to prove yourself. And I went for 6 interviews. It's a 6-stage process, and I started to work for the Cordwell Group. And I don't know if you know John Cordwell. He owned Phones for You.
Okay, right.
Other companies, he owned Dextra that provided the phones and the logistics, and Single Point was the airtime provider. Anyway, long story short, we sold it in 2001 to Vodafone, and he walked off with 1.8 billion, and Vodafone wanted me to South Wales. So what I learned there, though, was how to manage and not manage people. So at Technogym, I had only a small team. I went to the Cordwell Group, who were the most ruthless company in the UK. You had to wear a long service badge when you'd been there a year, and like a status symbol, which was great, you know, to get one. But it was, you know, you saw how people rule by fear and things like that. But I had 160 staff, you know, at points in that period there. Right. That was a baptism of fire, and I realised that I had to improve my management skills. You know, educate myself, and that's when I started to read. I've always read since an A-level teacher made us read the Times every day about the history of sport and stuff like that. And again, I'm addicted to making sure I read the Times but it's only once a week now on a Sunday. But he made me starting to read, and you know, I think it was Tom Brown's School Days back then or something like that. But and then when I was, you know, in my early 20s, I started reading business books, of which now just across from here, I've got like 250 books that I just read. You know, not only a few pages every night because I'm knackered usually, but you know, but I get through it. I'm not, you know, and that's what started my development, if you like, of what I wanted to do next.
Yeah.
From there, I went working for the Yell Group, which was fantastic, which was Yellow Pages, right? Which is a very big, obviously, you know, several hundreds of millions of turnover group, established for several decades, very blue chip, very organized, structured training. And I worked in their training department, sales training department, and then up in Cheshire. But I wanted to get back into leisure, so I was only there a year. But I learned an awful lot, and I got approached after a year saying, "Are you still interested in leisure? There's a family business play company based up in Cumbria." I'm based down in Cheshire at that time. I said, "Right, okay, what is it?" It's children's playground equipment. Well, it wasn't really on my radar that, you know, I want to be in the sports world and, you know, all of this. And anyway, I started there, and it was, like I said, it's a ninth generation family business. I'm actually the first person outside of the family ever to run that business. And I now own that business. So, and I've taken it from being just in the UK. We've quadrupled, 400% growth on the turnover, and we now took it into 51 countries in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And so that's what got me there, really. And I could tell you 100 stories and learning from being at Playdale, and I'll let you ask, but that's how I got to Playdale.
Yeah. But just one thing that kind of stands out there, Barry. You said that, you know, the opportunity came up with Playdale in the playground sort of industry, and it wasn't something that you was personally interested in. So I'm just kind of interested in asking, like, do you think that you have to be passionate about, like, the kind of industry that you're in, or is it just the fact that you were passionate about building the company rather than the actual industry itself?
Listen, passion helps. You have to be passionate about what you do. You have to be passionate about what you're involved with, it be a pen or, you know, a bolt, and, you know, how can you be passionate about screws? But I know somebody who runs a fixing company, and they are so passionate about what they do, you know, and I'm like, you know, it's a bolt and it's different size bolt. But you can't shut this guy up if you're on a call with him, you know. So passion helps you develop, and it also, I believe, takes people with you, because I think, you know, I think it's about action orientated values, and leading by examples got to be one of your values. But for me to join Playdale, my passion was I saw something and I knew what skills I had. And more importantly, I think I saw weak opposition, which is from my background of like, I could blow these away. These guys don't have structured processes. You know, we can take these guys from Division 4 and we'll be in the Premiership in 5 years. And you know what? It took 6 years, but that's almost what we did. And I'm
back-to-back promotions.
I'm just passionate about winning every day. Everything's a competition with me, you know. And I guess that's what really sold it to me. And they were decent individuals, you know. There was a lot of care and love that had gone into the business up to that point. It was real, it was transparent, it was honest, it was a family business, you know. You feel it. So there was a warmth in it.
That's really interesting, because like, personally, I own a window cleaning company, and I'm very passionate about my business. But the thing is, I'm not passionate about going to clean a window. I'm passionate about helping people. So I think that's kind of similar to what you're saying there. It's a bigger thing than the product. It's actually what you're doing for people.
Provide service, and you can either just do it or you could do it in care. And I think that care allows is where the growth will come from. And doing stuff right and to a level of detail, and by default it will happen.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate and you slapdash, and some days you let people down, guess what? You'll be mediocre at best.
Yeah.
If you're passionate and you care about this business, and this is my child, and I'm going to make it happen, it'll be successful no matter what you do.
Yeah. I try because I've got obviously staff members, and I try and speak to them about just caring about what you do. Like a lot of people will get a job and it'll just be a job. And I try and tell them, if you care about it and you're passionate about it and you take a bit of time and love it, people will know when it's made right, other than when it's made like you just pulled out of a fridge. Like I own a coffee shop, so I know a bad coffee from a good coffee. As stupid as it sounds, I've done it 13 years now. I can walk into a place and go, "This is a bad coffee. I don't like it." But I'm trying to tell my staff, you've got to be passionate about what you do. You've got to love it, because if not, it's just a job, and customers will know that from just customer service, the way you talk to people.
Right. And there's something that I've learned along the way is and I should say we, the team now, what we've created is we employ on attitude. We see CVs, we see skills and stuff, but I want to see the person in front of me, and I want people to care as much as what we do. Now, you two are business owners, you'll really struggle to find someone who cares as much, and that's where I'm saying about give people skin in the game. They'll repay it, and you're giving away some of that business. If they start to care about that business, you'll get a return on it. And if you can find the people with the right attitude that will come on board and buy into your plan, it will grow. But they're hard to find, and you need to lead by example to show them you care about them. And if you care about them, they start to care about your business even more, because it's you they're letting down as well. And then they start to enjoy it more. And I think it's a virtuous circle. I listened to Peter Moore's, and it's all about the brand that then comes to the passion. Listen to Peter Moore's. He's just finished, I think, hasn't he? Chief Exec at Liverpool. And he was talking about employing Jurgen Klopp. And I mean, Peter Moore's, his background is phenomenal. You can get him on this,
You can link us up, Barry, if you want.
Yeah, I'll drop him a line for you if you like. He's moved back to the US though, hasn't he? So, but nothing's impossible. We'll do it. But he worked for EA Sports. He started off at Reebok, EA Sports, and Microsoft. He was at Xbox. He was in charge of Xbox. Anyway, so he understands brand, and he says, we didn't employ Jurgen Klopp because he's a good football manager. We employed Jurgen Klopp because he understands brand and he's good for the brand. And he says, well, listen, he uses brand, right? And if the brand is bigger, we sell more shirts, we sell more tickets, we sell more rights, we get bigger sponsorship. And if we do that, we can buy better players. And if we can buy better players, we'll probably win more games. And if we win more games, our brand is bigger. And it's this virtuous circle. He says, he just so happens to be a decent football manager. He bought it for the brand. He says, but when they won for the sixth time, you didn't even talk about tactics, did you? In that 24 hours after, you didn't say, we went for them, we went down the left, we're fed Salah, we knew what we were doing. All they did was stand there and go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With a big smile, didn't he? He showed his teeth.
That's
all people wanted to see. His brand, and people just love him because it's the brand, and he's now becoming brand Liverpool, isn't he? And they'll hopefully, suffer some success because it'll be a virtuous circle about what it brings.
That's it. Well, I think we're both Liverpool fans, Craig, as well, aren't we, mate? So it's we can relate to that. Klopp is just, like you say, it just like radiates that warmth and just such a personable sort of character, isn't he? And that's what people naturally warm to as well. The players will warm to that. Do you think that can be the same in business terms as well, Barry? Is that how?
100%. People have got to respect you. You could be the best textbook leader in the world, or if you're not real with people, and that doesn't mean you have to be like Klopp. You don't have to be cuddly. You don't have to be, you don't have to be, some people can't do that. But if you're real and transparent, honest, and say it from the heart, people will get it. And I think in business, then that pays dividends. It really does.
Yeah.
So, going back to the start of Playdale, I want to go into and just talk about, you talked about like going from Division 4 to the Premiership, and you did it in 6 years. Like, what were the goals? Like, were they the goals, and like, what are the goals next? Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, the goals were, we've got an opportunity we're at a tipping point. There's 60 companies, 60, do what we do in the UK: design, manufacture, install children's playground equipment. In our association, there's probably about another 60 that are backstreet one-man bands that do it as well and sell to local schools, and unfortunately do a bad job. But so it's hyper competitive. So we had a choice of either growing and competing or dying away, and we were about the 10th largest then when I came along, and the aim was to become number one, biggest manufacturer in the UK. And we got up there to that position after about 5 years. So biggest UK-based manufacturer. And then at that point, our goals were probably, I wouldn't say we got comfortable at that point, because we were still ambitious and still wanting to grow. But our goals were changed for us in the austerity hit. Okay, so 2007 financial crisis. We were lucky. There was nearly there was 255 million pounds of government money ring fenced for 3 years, 2008, 9 and 10. So I knew the world was going to come to an end for us, and a bit of a cliff edge in 2011. And people were forecasting that the UK market would fall by about 30%, 30. So, and I've got a team, we've got a trained team, we've got a developed team, we've done really well, we've got the machinery. We're in an area of the UK in Cumbria where there's not a skills shortage, there's a people shortage. Never mind the skills. I've interviewed 2 shepherdesses for computer entry admin jobs. They were really good at counting, but they weren't very good at computers. But they were, we needed to keep these people. So it was like, well, do we resize and lose 30% of our staff and go again, or do we diversify? And at that point, I just finished the MBA, and I was reading the MBA text, Blue Ocean Strategies, and we're operating in a red-blooded ocean with everyone else at the moment. Where can I operate? Where the water's a bit less, there's less sharks in it, and I can swim more freely and grow. And so we did a load of brainstorming, and can we make, we make play equipment, we've got the machines, can we make sheds? Sell them to Kingfisher, B&Q, and stuff. Can't get the margins. We're bringing it in from Asia for pennies, and we just can't get there. So, well, we beat the best in the world here, and the UK market's the biggest in Europe. So I guess that's why we're never forced to go anywhere else. But we beat the best, in the UK. Why can't we beat them everywhere else? So we made the decision in 2009. Well, let's export. So I looked around the room and said, well, who's going to head this up? And said, well, I only do 80 hours a week, so why don't I do it? And let's go and export. And so how do we do that? And I've got no idea. And that was the biggest learning journey of my life so far. And that's when this last 10-year journey really started. And I went on a course. I Googled it, all the search engines are out there. Well, I Googled it, and, it came back. I think it was Business Link or something like that. And it went UKTI, UK Trade and Investment. And I went on a course for a weekend and down in Liverpool, and came back with about 10 or 12 actions, and said, right, went back to my board team that we developed and said, right, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to change the equipment. They all looked at me like I had 2 heads, and it was like, well, we haven't got any orders. What do you mean? In China they need this, or in Belgium, they need this, and I'm obsessed with action. So that same sheet still exists today. From those 12, there's over 700 actions on it now. 10 years on, coming up to 12 years on, and we started our journey on how to learn how to export. And by 2013, we set a goal of being in 6 new countries every year, which was a little naive at the front end, because then realized it was a new country every 2 months. And to get a distributor in a country, it means me flying to a country, spending a week in a country, meeting potential distributors, meeting local authorities, municipalities, as they call, meeting landscape architects, meeting principals of schools, to get a feel of that market, to try to get that 10,000 hours in a week type thing. And then we come away and we have questionnaires that we give to the distributors. We decide who we would like to work with. They'd like to work with us. We invite them back to the UK, spend a couple of days with them in the UK, showing them around Playdale, showing who we are, really looking after them, showing around the beautiful Lake District, but they do that under their own steam. We don't pay for it. They come and because they're showing their desire to be involved. And then we choose someone, negotiate a contract, fly back out there, spend a couple of days with them doing training, giving them samples and setting them up, and away they go. And we said we'd do one every 2 months. And you know what? We've done it. And I visited 60 countries in the last 10 years. I've done over 600 flights in the cheapest seats in economy. And I'm 6'2", 60 stone, I'm at the back, it's usually freezing. And I've lived out of a suitcase for over 2 years of my life by doing it.
Yeah.
But it was this desire and passion to make this happen. And we're now a global brand in the industry for people not knowing it.
Yeah.
So that goal was forced upon us, but we could have just done it and survived. But I wanted to make sure we survived and thrived, and became a world leader in it.
Oh, is that yours, Bill?
Yeah, the dog's having a bit of a hissy fit in the back.
Sorry about that, Barry.
It's all right.
Yeah, so that I think just from listening to you, Barry, we obviously get the idea that once you set a target, there's nothing's going to stop you by the sounds of it. So I mean, obviously we all come across the setbacks in his life. I mean, how do you approach a setback then? What kind of process do you go through when something comes in your way?
Okay, so you've hit on something that I am very focused on doing something, but what I've learned along the way is, and the terminology I use now and what I spread to team, and I do a lot of mentoring with people, and I work for quite a few different organizations, don't I? And I talk about fail fast, and learning to fail fast, and recognizing that you're not good at something or it's not the right for you, and not sticking there being ignorant, because they're the things I've done wrong. Now, what do I do when I fail or when I'm in crisis? Well, I've lost. So from the age of 7, or probably before, but at the age of 7, I lost more races than I'd won. If you listen to someone like Jordan, he's missed how many shots? Or
9,000, yeah.
Yeah, and he was going to make the last throw of a game and all that,
Yeah.
And I actually saw him play in 1991. I was on a high
Did
school
you?
in Chicago. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Amazing. But anyway, I've lost more times, and that resilience is built into you. And yes, maybe when I was 8, I probably shed a tear, and when I was 14, I was probably really moody, but you learn that. And then in business, it's the same. Do everything, cover every single base. And if you've done everything right, then, maybe it wasn't worth winning. But if you can honestly say you've done everything, then you know what? You lost. And the more you lose, the more you get used to it. You should never become complacent about it. Hey, so what? I lost. I want people to be bad losers. I don't want a good loser on my team, because they won't have the desire to win. You know, it's like I want to see some passion around it, but it's learning it, it's compartmentalizing it and going, right, that's what's happened. Let's assess it. Let's dust ourselves off.
Yeah.
Different people handle that in different ways. And I'm not just about, you know, sport or business. You know, some people might have to escape for a day, the next day, and go on, you know, a 20-mile hike and come back refreshed. Some people can go through the door and they're okay. You know, it's, but it's about analysing it, compartmentalising it, as I say, and then moving forward.
Yeah.
And getting excited about your next goal.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned from that. I've enjoyed learning from that. I hated not achieving, but I've enjoyed learning from it.
Yeah.
I think that takes time to learn. And they're the things I've learned. You know, I'm 46 now. Things like that have probably come in the last 10 to 15 years. Of actually realising I enjoy learning from not achieving.
I think it's a massive one. Is we have a good saying, me and Alex. It's you don't ever lose, you learn, and I think losing can help you. It helps you. I always say it helps you more than winning does, because as much as winning's nice, once you've lost something, you know how you can get it in your head and take action and go, you know what, next time it's going to be flipping. I'm not ever losing again. Basically, that's how I say it anyway.
Yeah, you've got to know what an error is to know what right is.
Yeah.
And it's like that didn't feel right. You know, go back to, you know, a Jordan basketball training. You know, you know, don't you, when you release that ball for a 3-point, you know when it's got, you know it's going in. You know, you guys at your football, when you hit that ball sweet. You know before it's hit the back of the net.
The moment it leaves your foot, you know.
Isn't it? You know what great feels like, but you've got to have done, I don't know how many thousands of kicking it and going, that didn't quite go right. Right. But you always know what right feels because of those errors.
Correct.
Definitely.
Brilliant. So for all of your efforts, Barry, you've actually been awarded the MBE then. So you just want to tell us about how that came about and how it made you feel, basically.
It came about from 2012ish. I've done an awful lot for Department of International Trade, UKTI as it was, so Foreign and Commonwealth Office. And I'm very much about helping others. I believe in a virtuous circle, you know, doing this, I'm hoping somebody will pick one tiny thing out of it, they listen to it and it helps them, you know, recommend other people to do that, you know. But I'm very much about, well, people have helped me. And I can list the people that, you know, really change your life and helped you. And I believe in giving back. So when someone asks me for help, I don't just say I'm going to do it, I do it. So for DIT, I probably spoke to hundreds of companies to help them on their export journey. And not only spoke to them, I've shared my export plans and I've helped them with export plans, and I'll stay up till midnight doing it. And I've presented in the hundreds of times now to, you know, tens of 20s of companies and all of that anyway. And then they obviously recognised that over a 5-6 year period, and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office nominated me for an MBE of my efforts, and I'd helped write the UK export strategy. And it was a major surprise, and it's a very humbling moment, you know, a working class guy that just wants to do well. You know, and it's amazing. It's very special for, you know, people like my parents and stuff like that, but it was more special for them, and it's a bit surreal. And I really struggled with it for the first couple of years that I've been awarded an MBE, and I was, I wouldn't say embarrassed is the wrong word, but awkward around it. You know, and you know, it's coming up to 3.5 years now, and you get the imposter syndrome. And you know, and it's like, you know, what, you know, should I, shouldn't I? and therefore it's driven me more to give back even more. And if you look me up, you'll see I do an awful lot of pro bono work for different organisations because I enjoy helping others and I enjoy giving back. So it's a great moment, something to be very proud of. It's with me for forever, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, I feel very lucky to have done it, and there's lots of other people out there that just as worthy, and I hope they get recognised at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you're just saying there. At the end of the day, it's just a couple of letters after your name, but you've done it for a genuine from a genuine place where you just want to help people. But rightly so, you have been awarded for that. So, like I say, the imposter syndrome, that's another one. We've spoke to a pretty famous film writer from Hollywood, and he talks about a time he got taken up to the Oscars. He got nominated for an Oscar, and he just kind of had that moment where he thought, I don't belong here. He come from a working class background as well. But I think he's come to. I think do you come to terms with accepting that you should be there, basically?
I've been lucky enough to go to garden. Before that, I've been to the garden parties at Buckingham Palace, and I'm like clearing my plate, and I'll take it. But I don't think you should lose that. I think that's great. I go to, I'm lucky enough. Because of what I've done and who I work with, I'm very, very well networked, and that's one recommendation I'd give anyone listening is get out there and network. And I'll tell you something about this in a little while, because it doesn't come easy to me, but put yourself out there. And I'm in the room with some, supposedly important, influential individuals. And for all the money in the world, I wouldn't want to be like them, because I've experienced, really rude, arrogant individuals. I've experienced some amazing, some fantastic people that, very inspirational and wow. But it doesn't change anything for you. It doesn't give you anything. I can get married in St. Paul's Cathedral, but I'm already married, so I can't do that. And, it's so I think I've got used to it. I don't mind talking about it now. And I hope it inspires other people, I guess, is what I've got used to it is. People go, wow, you've got that. And I'm going, well, with hard work, I did this. I've developed probably, I don't know, hundreds of millions of pounds of export for the UK government. And someone's recognised that. Then you can do that, and that's why I try to talk about, my dad was a miner, and anyone can do it, guys. And hopefully it'll inspire people to get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, just by listening, we've been going 50 minutes now. I think just by listening to how you talk about just business and your life and the passion, you can sense that you pretty much deserve it. And just the case of, like you just said, I'm from a working class family, like you can tell you're not one of those people you'll talk to and it'd be like, I'll just brush you off to the side. It's kind of like, I'll help you as much as you want. You could be earning millions, and it's like, I'll help you as much as you want to get to where you want to be. And it just comes across as that speaking to you now. Well done on getting an MBE as well. That's an achievement in itself.
It's a great trait, that.
I think what I want to know is, what are your daily habits? So in terms of since you've been 7, you go back to being 7 years old, starting running. Have you kept any daily habits from then, or have they changed to what they are now in terms of setting goals, or just
I always have short and long term goals. I always have a things to do task list on the go. I'm obsessed with achieving stuff. So one of my habits is I won't go to bed until I've done everything on that list that day. I don't go, oh well, I'll leave that tomorrow. And that's ingrained in me. It's make it happen today. Don't put it off till tomorrow. And then one of the other habits, this is my mantra, and I was lucky to meet a guy a few years ago, and he talked to me about my purpose, and that really helped me, and he says, so what's your purpose? And I sat there for a few minutes and came out with something, and he ripped me apart and said, that's bullshit, purpose, and I'm like, no, that's bullshit. What is your purpose? And that's when I came out with, and it took me, a few weeks and different iterations of it, and what my attributes were, and I want to be remembered as a great business leader that helped others achieve great things. I want to be respected for that, and obviously I want to be a great father, and all of those things are in there, but around business. And so my habit is make every day count, and I want to keep it really simple. And people go, what do you mean by that? I'm like, I don't want you to have status quo. I don't want you to go out and do the same round on the window cleaning without that day doing something to better yourself or better your business. What do I mean by that? Well, better yourself. You may have got fitter and leaner, but you're pretty fit lads anyway. It was, or I've read a book. I've read half a chapter of a book. I've improved myself there. Or I've sent out X amount of new inquiries to take over a new round, or I've looked at getting another premises for me, expand my coffee shop. Every day there has to be something that's making you move forward. It's very easy to get lost in the day to day. And says, what have you done today? Oh, it's been a manic day today. I've done 500 covers. It's been mental. And I'll be like, no, what have you done today that has moved you forward? What do you mean? Oh, did you read an article? Did you listen to a podcast on your way in this morning? Did you get that extra session in the gym? So then you're healthier, fitter, stronger. And that is something I believe in. Wellness is definitely part of my life, and I'm proud of what I did here. A couple of years ago, it's 2 years ago now, I took part in a charity boxing event.
I was going to mention this to you, Barry, because I've done one as well.
Right, well, I've never boxed in my life, and I don't know if you've seen my video, but I obviously got obsessed by it, that I couldn't lose. When they found out I was fighting a guy that was a 9th Dan black belt and being on TV fighting 2 people, thought maybe I've got an issue here. But anyway, but it's about health as well. But that was, for me, that was bettering myself, because I lost 2 stone doing it. That's probably the fittest I've been for 20 years. And guess what? One of my short-term goals is now New Year's resolution, and it's a real one. I'll weigh myself virtually every day. I'm going to lose 2 stone again, because that was 2 years ago, and I've put 2 stone back on. So those habits are always very front to me, a little bit obsessive.
Just talking a bit more about the white collar boxing then, because obviously I did it myself, Barry, and you can probably agree with me that you might think what getting punched in the face feels like, but until you actually get punched in the face, it's a bit like it was definitely a shock to me anyway. I'm guessing you went on to beat this ninth Dan black belt then.
I'll let you watch the video. Won't take very long, but well, there's 2 famous sayings, isn't there? There's Stormy Norman, the American general who went into Iraq in the 90s. He says everybody has a strategy until the first engagement, or everyone has a plan until the first engagement with the enemy, and then the plan. You've got to be able to strategize on your feet, and things like that. You can take that into business. And Tyson said, everyone has a plan until someone smacks you on the end of the nose. I got obsessed by it. I joined 3 different boxing gyms. I was there at 5 a.m. in the morning doing classes and training, because I had to, because of work commitments. I realized I have been punched on the nose, because I played rugby and not football. So, it's, I guess that's what they said to me in the first sessions, because all the lads were younger than us. They were all ripped. They were all, you know, I used to be a cage fighter, I think was the common saying. But they were all, you know, they were all very wealthy, a lot of them, from the finance world, from Manchester. It was called Manchester Business Heavyweights.
Right.
You know, we had nigh on 600 people watch.
Yeah.
We raised £150,000. You know, it
Brilliant.
was people took it very, very serious, and I obviously did. And when I found out I had been paired against, which only happened about, I don't know, a month before.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter who I got. There was 30 of us that started, and there was 12 of us chose to fight. You learn a lot about yourself in that training.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was broken. I remember being put in the ring after about 2 months, never sparred in my life, with a lad who is a slugger that was 15 years younger than me, who knocked 7 bells out of me on a Friday night, the night before I was going on holiday. I'd never sparred before. My nose is everywhere. There's blood all over me. The guy's going, "You're not hurt, get back in." You know, I couldn't breathe. You couldn't suck it up. You work out what resilience is.
Yeah.
You know, but I went on holiday. My wife wasn't best pleased. I was turning up with 2 black eyes. But, you know, but I trained every day on holiday in the gym, because I'm like, and I realized how slow I was and stuff like that. But you learn tactics, and I can tell you now that this guy hit me the first punch of the fight. I had a strategy for 3 rounds. He caught me in his very first punch. The plan went out the window. The blood went to my legs, fight or flight adrenaline. I don't think I threw a punch. Felt like forever, all right? But it was probably 2-3 seconds. And then this planning and training goes into overdrive in your head. If you watch it, I'm frowning like I usually am, all right? And you'll see me working around the ring, and I'm going jab, 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 jab. And then he's jabbing me, and I'm going, and then it goes, right, okay, I'm back in the motion now. Then it's like, catch the jab. You get taught, don't you? Catch his jab. And then you get taught, catch his jab, move it away, catch his jab, move it away. So unfortunately for him, after about 40 seconds, and it's never happened before, and supposedly it can't happen with 16-ounce gloves, but after about 30 odd seconds, I get it into my head of catching the jab, moving it away, and I shut my eyes and hit him as hard as I could. And unfortunately, I went to hospital, and he had to spend the night being monitored. But yeah, if you ever watch the full 5-minute video that's on YouTube, it's the guy says, "Well, thanks for that, Barry." It was the guy out of Phoenix Nights, so it was fantastic. Andy Burnham brought us into the ring. Robbie Reed, ex-world champion, was the referee in the ring with me. Yeah. And there was a guy from Phoenix Night, one of the lads from Phoenix Nights, he says, "Well, thank you for that, Barry. We were running 10 minutes behind, but we're about bang on time now." Well, you learn a lot from the process, and I've got an awful lot of respect. I was never into boxing before that, you know, but, you know, people like Fury and stuff, I've got a lot of respect. I never dream of saying I know about technique now, but speed and physical agility, their mental toughness, huge respect.
Absolutely, I feel the same. Until you go through it yourself, you don't know what they're experiencing. So it's like, I have massive respect for them guys now.
You then take that into business, you know, and resilience.
Yeah.
You know, I've been beat up by people. You know, it's how to come back. It's how to keep moving forward when you've been punched on the nose. Yeah. And that's what it's like in your business world. You know, this is like it's like in COVID. It's about just keep moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this last 2 weeks, I think I've been punched in the face every single day with COVID and hospitality. Flipping it.
Restrictions, and it'll hurt like hell, I imagine.
Yeah.
Stings, you know, and at times it's probably made your eyes water, but you've got to regroup, keep moving forward, don't hit the deck, you know, get knocked down 6 times, get up 7, what Ali said, you know, it's just keep getting up and you'll be the winner.
Yeah. I think there's I know, we spoke to a guy Actually one of the latest episodes, Lou Campbell, and he's just started a new challenge, the 75 days challenge. If you're looking for something to do, that is a challenge. Tell you now, 75 days straight.
Don't tell Barry that. Don't tell Barry that.
Yeah, I think it'll be right up your street. That, very good stuff. If you wanna look into that, we can try and send you over some sort of plan, I think, or whatever it is. But yeah, that's, I think, I don't know about you, Alex, but that is I think I've pretty much got my fill for today. That is a very, very good chat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, for the purposes of the podcast, I mean, we could probably do another episode completely with you, Barry. But if we can just kind of start to wrap it up, we've just got a few questions that we finish with. So if you can give us a fact about yourself that most people won't know, if you can.
Okay, I'm incredibly shy.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Incredibly shy. So I've done over 600 flights now, and I've never spoken to the person next to me. And it's not because I'm arrogant; is I don't really do small talk.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's been what I've done. And the same in business. I've presented to 3,000 people in auditoriums and been on stage, and people get off and go, "Wow, you killed it!" Right? But it's because I've kept stretching the envelope, or talk about an elastic band, and if you keep doing it, you eventually, it doesn't come back. And I guess I've put myself out of my comfort zone enough times. But but by choice, I don't speak to people in lifts where my wife makes friends in lifts.
I hate being in lifts.
Yeah, well, I'm not the best, but a lot of people don't believe me when I say it. But yeah, so.
Right. There's no wrong with that. Small talk's a load of crap anyway, isn't it? So it's pointless. You just get straight to the good stuff. That's what it's all about.
I think that's why I've got about 1 million friends. I talk to anyone and anyone.
Yeah, I do. I do too.
I admire that, and I look at people like that. My wife genuinely, she makes friends in a lift on the first day of holiday. And I go, how did you do that? It baffles me, and it's a skill that I'm jealous of, but I just, I can't do
it. Next question is, if you had the power to invite anyone into this interview, can be dead, alive, or whatever, who would you choose and why?
Listen, I look up to a lot of business people, the Branson of this world, and their audacity to try it and do it. And I've got some great friends now in business that really inspire me, be it big names or little names. But I think it'd have to be a sporting great, because what makes your hairs at the back of your neck stand up? If someone, Muhammad Ali or and it would just inspire me and egg me on and a little bit and say, no, you do it, and just push back and stand up to me. And I was very lucky in the training in the white collar boxing. There's a guy called Jeff Thompson, and Jeff's someone that you might want to look up. He's Manchester based. Jeff was a world karate champion. Times he was a gold medalist in 1980 Olympics, something like that. He's on about going to the Tokyo Olympics age 60 something and doing karate again. Well, he came and started with me. His son's a boxer in Muhammad Ali's boxing training camp in Louisville, Kentucky, and his son's to the boxing club in Salford, and he got in the ring and sparred me and just kept on hitting me on the nose. And but people like that inspire me. People that have done it. Have really done it. It's hairs at the back of your neck.
Definitely. Yeah, love to have a chat with Mohammed. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, So just to finish on then, Barry, just to finish on a high note, to anyone that's looking at really starting the journey or making that leap to, becoming a business owner, or what kind of final advice would you have for someone?
Okay, I think it's in a few phases. Plan, but don't get stuck at a plan. You know, Nike have got it great, haven't they? Just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
I'd love everyone just to do it, but that will help you fail fast. There has to be a plan. There has to be actions. There has to be, there has to be a journey out there that has to adapt. Go back to this, that you'll get curveballs, you'll get global pandemics, you'll have to adapt, but have a plan that you can measure and not get complacent against. This is where I want to be, and I'm there by X, and then evaluate it and just keep evaluating it. And when I say evaluate it, I usually mean know your numbers. So plan, then just do it. Get boots on the ground, make
action.
And if you fail, so what? Dust yourself off and go again. You probably didn't plan enough, it means, or didn't train enough, or didn't think it through enough, but learn from it and go again. You have to go and get another job for a year and save some more money up. Go again, but plan in that 6 months. Don't just and then once you're doing it, just keep evaluating it and think about your competition. Be obsessed with winning, because if you're obsessed with it, you will make things happen. I'm a big believer in The Secret. I don't know if you've read The Secret.
Absolutely, yeah. Rhonda Byrne. Yeah,
exactly. And if you think it and you believe it, you will put things in place subconsciously to make things happen. That's been about being obsessed with it. So
brilliant. Yeah, that's perfect way to wrap it up there, Barry. It's I've got to say, I'm just going to put it out there, Bill. I think that's probably been one of my favourite conversations today, that one.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
So cheers, Barry.
Thank you. And you know what? You've been my favourite one of today.
Yeah.
Cheers. Only one then, I'm guessing.
No, I've had hundreds, but it's usually been around issues and problems. So at the end of the day, and it's nice to have a conversation with people that obviously want to do good and help. And you can see the passion in what you want to achieve as well, lads. And I wish you all the luck. I really do. Yeah.
I appreciate your time, Barry, and we wish you all the luck as well going forward with your journey.
Yes,
and I'm sure, Bill, if you're ever stopping by in Halifax, Barry, call for a coffee at Billy's place.
Yes. I'm up and over in Plec, Halifax, as I used to say, because I love over that way. And if people need to get hold of me, they can get me on Twitter or they can get me on LinkedIn, or email me. There's only, it sounds arrogant to say there's only one Barry Leahey, but it's still all the parents calling me Barry. So you can find me quite easy. Leahey is Leahey. And anyone that needs any help who's listening to this, just give me a shout and you'll always get a reply that day.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. You come straight back to us. Right. Brilliant, Barry. Again, thank you, mate. And best of luck with your future, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay, guys. Take care.
Take care, mate. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to another inspiring self-made story, and we hope you enjoyed the show. We would be very grateful if you could kindly leave us a review, as it will help us impact a wider audience. You can do this on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. If you want to reach out on the socials, find us across all platforms using @the Self-Made Minds Podcast. See you next time, and happy success making.